Are you done with your secondary school education or are you still in secondary school? There is a scholarship from the University of Toronto, which is known as the Lester B. Pearson International Student Scholarship. And this is a great scholarship. It covers your full tuition and many other benefits. For this video, I don't want to simply teach you how to apply to this scholarship, but I want to show you how to succeed in this scholarship. Why is this important? Because you can secure the scholarship, but you need to be proactive. I would explain that in a moment. In this video too, I would also show you the example of two successful applicants who got a scholarship last year, 2024. We'll look a bit at their stories and find out what they did differently. If you're in secondary school, you could start doing these things ahead of the application. The deadline for this is October 17th, I think. We'll confirm that in a moment. If you're still in secondary school, once again, I want to say, please watch this video to the end, understand the requirements, start making preparation. The scholarship appears every year, so you can apply next year too. But if you've just finished secondary education, that is fine. You can apply to this. There is still sufficient time. If you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Brendo. I am a doctoral student here in the University of Strathclyde. I received full scholarship for my program. In fact, I got two and I had to select the better one. And in my video, I explain how to secure full scholarships. Now let's get right into the video. As mentioned at the outset in the introduction, we're looking at the University of Toronto, the Lester B. Pearson International Student Scholarship. I'll leave a link in the description to this web page so you can just come here and read up on your own. Now, what is the scholarship for? It's for outstanding leaders who demonstrate exceptional academic achievement, creativity, and potential to contribute positively to the global community. And you get a full scholarship for your 4 year for international students. And you're also nominated by your high school. So for this one, you're nominated by your high school, and each school can only nominate one person. So just so you know, each school would nominate one person. So there are 37 scholars selected annually, and there's so much funded, and 188 countries represented. Now, how do you apply to this scholarship? To apply to this scholarship, you must be an international student and you should be in your final year of your senior secondary school education. So you should be in your 12th grade. And then you are planning to begin your studies in Toronto in 2026. For those who are still in secondary school and applying for next year, or you want to, you can also prepare for next year if you know what I mean. So if you're still in, say, ninth grade or 10th grade, you can start preparing ahead because you know the eligibility criteria. Applying to scholarship is time consuming, rigorous. It's sometimes frustrating, but it doesn't always have to be that way if you have someone who has succeeded guide you through the application process. I succeeded in getting two full funding for my PhD program, and I selected the best one for myself. And I can guide you through the application process. Currently, I'm guiding a number of applicants to apply for scholarships all over the world. Take, for example, I had a one-to-one meeting with Bless from Poland, who is looking for a master's scholarship. And after reviewing her profile, I gave her tips to improve her chances. In another one-to-one meeting I had with Lame from Botswana, who is looking for a PhD program, I reviewed his application and his proposal. And after looking at all of these, we discussed extensively and I guided him to also contact a supervisor. Another meeting I've had recently is with Joy from Nigeria, who is looking for a Masters by Research program. I helped her to search for tailored scholarship and also offered her guidance to contact supervisors. Now, these three and many others are working on the feedback to submit strong applications, and you can be one of them. Yes, you can be one of them. So if you're interested, my calendar is open. You can book a one-to-one session with me, and I'm happy to assist you in the scholarship process. Now, let's jump right back into the video. Okay, now from July to October, your high school nominates you. So this is the period where your high school nominates you. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's a section where you just simply highlight your school. Normally, if your school is registered, they would have been sent a notification already to nominate one candidate from each school. Now, during the process of your school nominating you, or even before then, you can apply to study at the University of Toronto. So you need to look at the number of graduate programs. There are many here. We'll come to this page soon, and you apply to one of these programs. Make sure you meet the eligibility criteria and then apply to the scholarship. Apply to the program. Now, when you have that offer, or even before you get the conditional or unconditional offer, you can then apply for the scholarship or you can submit that. So when your school nominates you, then you are invited to apply to the scholarship. So take note, your school nominates you and then you're invited to apply to the scholarship and then you complete the form and then submit it. Now, Of course, many schools all over the world would nominate one student respectively. How then does the University of Toronto, the scholarship body, how do they select the 37 scholars? And this is where we'll start to pay attention. But before then, let's talk about something else. So here is where you find out if your school is registered or is among those to send nomination. If your school is not here, then you can tell the school principal or head to include your school. You can register your school here. Now, for example, I'm just going to type the name of the school I taught while in Nigeria, and that is Jesuit Memorial College. So that's Jesuit Memorial College, and then you can find it here. So Jesuit Memorial College is already registered, which means I would not have to submit anymore. The school would be notified to, nominate one student. All right. Now, going forward, these are the programs. You can come here and select undergraduate programs. I will still leave a link in the description to this page. So just select the program. There's a whole list of programs here you could pick from, and you can apply this while concurrently submitting application for the scholarship. Now, the main thing part of this video, like I said, is we're going to look at two examples of students who succeeded in this scholarship and see what they did. Now, I want you to pay attention to this. If you've been watching this video to this point and you're willing to see the examples, could you just type in the comment section, just type examples. That way I know you've been paying attention and you're interested in this scholarship. All right, so let's start with the first one. Now, I'll give credit to Global Scholarship. That's from the site I got the stories. Okay. Now, the first person here we're going to talk about is Alina. I would also leave a link to her story so you can come up and read it up yourself. But I just want to mention some interesting thing about Alina. Um, yes, so I'm just going to mention some things about Alina. Now, there's something Alina did that really stood out to me and why I want to share it with you. Now, even while she was in school, she was taking some online programs. She was doing some free online programs. Now, some universities like Yale, Oxford, even Stanford have online programs that are free. And she did some of these online programs. Whether the online, some of them you have to pay for certification, but she did mention some of them. For example, Stanford Pre-College, Pre-Collegiate Summer Institute, excuse me. And she also pursued a human rights course. She did Babson Online Summer Studies Introduction to Entrepreneurship. So basically, she was doing some programs online. Okay, she was doing some online programs, both paid and otherwise. So you can just go online. If you need assistance with that, you can let me know in the comment section and I will look for those. Excuse me, where you find online programs, free online programs, and you could just register. Some of them take 3 months, some of them is just 120 hours, depending on how quickly you want to go through the programs. Okay. And then she goes on to talk about how she prepared and all those things. So you can come here and then read up on the program. But I just felt that it's really cool. It's really good, to be proactive. So, well, that's why I mentioned if you're in secondary school, you can just do something similar. I think there's something important I did not mention about this part. If you look at the terms and condition, okay, frequently asked question. The last part says, can my nominee use GenAI like ChatGPT to compose their scholarship application? Please note, it is said that it is prohibited. It is prohibited when creating content for any University of Toronto undergraduate award application. It is prohibited. So please take note, and you will be disqualified. So please note that. All right. I just thought it's important to mention that before we go on, so you don't lose your chance. For Alina, she graduated with 5.0 out of 5.0. Quite impressive, really. Now, let's look at another example. This is a Vietnamese, and her name is Tina. Now, Tina has a different experience, but she also secured a scholarship. And I think what really stood out about Tina's stories, also going to leave a link in the description for you to check. But what really stood out to me about Tina's experience is she mentioned the story. So Tina has a story to tell. She says she empathized with the trials and tribulations that underprivileged youth face in the area, and she really wants to implement social entrepreneurship to elevate the lives of children in her country and beyond. Now, she has a story, but more than the story, she has something else to tell you. For example, when you look at the advice, she says, just embrace yourself and have faith in what you're doing and do not compare yourself to others. Um, it says it make me more doubtful about myself and hence hinders my ability. So remember, it is your story. So tell your own story. Once again, I'm going to leave a link in the description to all of this. And you can go ahead, inform your school that you want to be nominated. If your school is not registered, just type the name of the school. If nothing pops up, then you can just tell the head of your school to register. And then when you registered, your school can nominate you. And if you have academic excellence, you have that great result, then go ahead and apply for the scholarship. And I want to end this video by saying all the best in your scholarship application.